Okay, I made these inspired by Ilene McInnes. I will have a link to her video in the description. And a few people wondered if I had done a video, and I hadn't, and I am going to be swapping these. So I'm going to send these 6 away, but I'm going to make probably 3 of them for myself, and so I'll do the video that I should have done when I did these now. Okay, just in case you can't see what they say, love, peace, magic, goodwill, merry, and snow. I will start by figuring out which size I used. I believe it was this one. Yes, it was. Okay, so if you don't have if you're not lucky like me and have a template, it is approximately 2 inches by, oh right, it's yeah, it's approximately 2 inches. It's a little bit more than 2, but so yeah, I will just cut. I will trace and cut. I'll do 4 of them and go from there. So I'll be right back. Okay, next up comes the messy part where I expose the corrugate on one side, and it gets a little bit tricky to do this part sometimes. It doesn't have to be perfect, but I want to show as much of it as I can. Anyway, I'm just gonna keep working at it until I have something that looks like this, maybe a little bit better cleaned on all 4, and I'll be back. Okay, next up, because it's easier to do it at this stage, I am going to write whatever I want to write on the back, the date and who inspired this and stuff like that. So can't see. Okay, I find that it looks better when they're going up and down rather than, well, I suppose, kind of depends. But I find that I like it better going this way than that way. But either way, doesn't really matter. I am going to find my old Timber Brown Stays On ink, and I will do 2 with this that I just kind of, you can't really see it that much, but it does make a difference. If you don't have Stays On ink, it doesn't have to be that. It can be any kind of, any brand or whatever, any kind of ink pad, or it can be marker or whatever you have. And for the other 2, I'm going to do them in blue, but I don't have an old ink pad and I don't want to ruin this one, so I'm just going to use this to, it's a Q-tip, to just make some go on there. Now again, it's not going to be perfect, but and it's not really that noticeable, but it just adds a little bit to it. It's laundry day again, in case you're hearing weird things in the background now and then. You hear the machines. Okay, that should do it. Okay, cardstock. I think it's cream. It might be more of a yellowish, but anyway. I'm going to do 2. Is that the right size? Was it that one? No, it wasn't. Yeah, it was. Yeah, okay, that's the right size. Okay, so I'm going to do 2 like this. Two in white. I will cut those out in a minute. And 2 slightly bigger ones from book text. And I'm going to cut those out and I'll be right back. Okay, I did do the wrong size of the cream ones, so I just redid it. So there it is. Okay, so 1.5 inch, and that one's 1.5 inch as well, the book text one, and then the smaller one is, wait a minute, how can that, it's just a very, just a little bit less than 1/2 inch. So this must be, I mean, 1.5. Okay, so this is a tiny bit more than 1.5. And that one too. And then this one's just a little bit under 1.5. I'm very bad at measurements and such, so sorry about that. Okay, I'm going to find, of course it's the one on the bottom of the stack. Do one at a time. Okay, so I'm going to kind of messily go around. And do the same thing on this. Go over the whole thing on this one. Okay, it looks like I might have actually done that. Yeah, okay. Okay, so there's that. And it turns out that for the blue ones, I do prefer it going like that. I don't know why. And the brown ones, I prefer them going like that. It doesn't make sense, but that's the way it is. So I'm going to do that again. Okay. And then try doing this. Don't really like doing that with my good stamp pads, but I don't have an old one of that color yet, so just go around there. But this gets messy. on your fingers especially. And then I will do this. I'll close that up for a minute, but don't put it away because I'm going to need it. Okay, and just this is timber brown, and the blue is azure blue. Probably not pronouncing that right, but okay. Now, might as well leave that out. Okay. Now I have this snowflake stamp that I got from Dee Dee. Thank you, Dee Dee. And I'm going to stamp it and stamp it on the paper so that it's not quite so vivid. And do that again on that one. And try to clean it off as best I can. Apparently there was still some blue from last time I stamped it. Okay, now I'm done with the timber brown, at least for a while. So I'm going to put that away. Okay, and now I'm going to stamp a few times on this. I'm going to stamp directly on, and then the ghost image, and then directly on again. And I'm going to do that to this one as well. And I guess I didn't show you this one close up. Did I? Okay. Okay. Okay, I've got some ribbon. Some lace, I mean. And I'm going to figure out. Okay, I need approximately that much twice. Meow. What's up? Okay, and I'm done with that, but I'll put it there for now. And then I need 4 pieces of this. I got this lace in Happy Meal, but I can't remember which Happy Meal it came from. Probably from Victor. Okay, by the way, I'm not the one who drank these, but anyway, they're kind of pretty. But yeah, I think these are dangerous, bad news. But anyway, if you're doing this, be careful, because you can get hurt, because there are a lot of splintery bits and things. So yeah, just be careful. See? Probably a good idea to wear safety gloves for metal working or something like that, but I don't have any, so yeah, see, there are a lot of bits here that could hurt you. So then after the top part, or you can start at the bottom part, whatever, after you cut off the first bit, bit easier. And then you have a piece that you can struggle with and cut. Now you probably want to use a designated pair of scissors for stuff like that because you don't know what it's going to do to your scissors. Okay, if you don't have an oval, you can make yourself a shape. You can go online and find a free shape, or if you have Photoshop or something like that, I'm sure you can find a way to get a shape that you want, and that it doesn't have to be an oval. Okay, this one's too dark. On this one, on the other one I was able to see, but that one's too dark, so I'm going to have to turn it on the right side up. Well, right side for what I'm doing. And I'm going to cut 4 of these because I need 4. However many you're making. And again, you want to be careful. Might even want to use protective eyewear just in case something comes curling up and flying or whatever. But anyway, just be careful. Probably not an appropriate project for a young person. At least not this. Well, yeah, actually the whole thing's probably not. I suppose could help with taking the cardboard out, and exposing the corrugate, but anyway. Okay. Now, Ilene had a punch, and I guess it didn't hurt her punch. I don't know if it would, if you did a lot of these, but anyway. And so, yeah. So I'm just going to do this. And again, be careful with these bits, because there's a lot of sharp pointy bits, and if you've got a kitty cat that is curious and stuff, you probably want to try to keep her away. Okay, so I'm going to cut those out and I'll be back. Now, I did use a punch, one of these regular hole punches. Well, it's not regular, it's the smaller one. I don't know. Anyway, it's the one that punches small holes, and I suggest punching your holes first so that you know how much space you have to write your word in. And so it does kind of get stuck on the punch, and you want to be careful that when you're pulling it off, you want to be careful that you're not ripping your little tag or whatever this is. Okay, so there you go. And it makes neat little confetti pieces. But again, you want to be careful if you're using these on anything, because they could be sharp. It could hurt you, I suppose. And so far so good. I don't think it harmed the punch, so, but I've only done 10 of these, so. Okay. I'm going to dump those in there right away because I don't want to forget that they're in there and have them fall somewhere else. Okay, I don't have that really neat set of letter things that you do with a hammer like Ilene has. So what I used was this. I think it's called a stylus, but I'm not sure. and I used the smaller side, and I just wrote it out. Now, if you're not challenged like me and you can write backwards, M-A-G-I-C. Anyway, if you are able to to write backwards, because you'll have to if you want to do it that way. If you want it raised on this side, you'll have to do it on the back side and do it backwards so that the word will show up properly. But I am just going to do it, I'm just going to make it easier on myself and write it this way because I'll get myself mixed up. I think I want, well, I know I want the word peace. So I just, let's see if I can pull you in here. Hopefully you can see that good enough. So I just go over it several times and press as hard as I can, and hopefully I won't break this. And I mean, it works good enough. I mean, it's not as good as, it's not as good an impression as Ilene's, but it's good enough. Excuse me. And I need to tend to the laundry. And I started at the wrong place, so I'm going to have to cram the other letters in here. It'll be good enough. These ones are just for me anyway, so. Okay, so you'll do a better job. Oh, right. So you'll do a better job, but you'll have something along these lines. Okay? Now, I'm going to choose a word and write it on each of the other three. I'm going to tend to the laundry, and then I'll be back. Okay, so now I need to bring out my ink pads again, and I'm just, now for this, stays on is better because it stays on does what its name implies. It stays on pretty much anything, which is part of the reason I love this ink so much. If you don't have it, I don't know if like a Sharpie would work or whatever, so yeah, I'm not sure. And once you've done that, it looks a lot like that. Okay, so snow, magic, and on these two I added a few snowflakes around the word. And again, when you're doing this, be careful that you don't slice your fingers on the edges of your piece. And you can put as much or as little of the ink as you want, but when you're going over the word, in order to make it show up better, the more you put on the word itself, the better it is. As a matter of fact, I think I'm going to do a little bit more on this snow. There we go. Okay, and that's it for that color. Oh, I forgot to write this one. Okay, peace. I'm going to do with the timber brown. Okay, and if your ink pad is particularly juicy and you feel like you've got too much on there, you can kind of do that. And then there you go. Okay. And I'm gonna put that away, and I'm gonna do love with my blazing red. You could just put the ink pad directly on the thing and kind of rub, but if you do that, you're probably going to ruin your ink pad. So if you're going to do that, you probably want to make sure it's an old one and not a good one. Okay, there you go. Love. Now, what's next? I guess to bring out the glue. So, I will put some glue on the bottom back side and put my lace, and then put a little bit more glue again and put it on the whole square. That's probably too much. And then put it somewhere in the middle, and you have to hold it for a few seconds so that it'll grab on there. And then I might have to put something heavy on that one. So on this one I put the glue and the wait. No, I did that in the wrong order. Put the white first, and you put it as close to the bottom as you can. And then put the blue one on. And then put glue on the whole square, the book text, and then you glue this one on top. Towards, like that, not quite in the middle, towards the top of the book text square. Okay, I'm going to glue these two the same way and put these under something kind of heavy to dry, and then once it's ready for the next step, I'll be back. Okay, I don't know how well this is going to work with my assistant here, but I think they're dry enough. I mean, they still could they still could use some drying time, but I think it's good enough. Now, what I did is that I put the thing about where I want it to be and used it as a guideline to where to punch the hole with my pokey tool. If you don't have a pokey tool, you can use a needle or a toothpick or whatever you have. Okay, and then I have these mini brads, and Soma, it's not a toy. Leave it. And it's a little bit tricky because it doesn't give you a lot of space, but that makes it tighter, so it's a good thing. And put them on there. Some of them are easier than others to put on. And then you have something that looks like that. right. And sometimes the hole, especially if you don't let it dry completely, it might get a little bit mushy and so a little bit harder to punch. But you'll get there. And I used different colors of the brads, but they're similar in color. They're all metallic ones. And I mean, you can be careful and make it so that it doesn't go crooked like I did there, but it's up to you. Sometimes it's easier to put one of the brads on as soon as one of the holes is made to help it stay, so you don't have to hold it. Or you still have to hold it, but it's easier to hold it because you have an anchor there. And you could put them on an angle on purpose, but I kind of prefer them to be like that. So doing this also helps to prevent the curly uppy thing from happening. Okay, now what I did next was that I used my glossy accents and put a few extra things. So I think I would like, so I want it on top. Yep. And this part gets a little bit messy, and you can try to avoid that, but you can try to, before it dries, you can, this is just a piece of paper towel that I've been using for this kind of thing. Okay. And I think I would like to have one of these on the, what you call it, on the lace. Now this is snow, so I think I would like to have some now. I think, oh, that's kind of pretty. So they come like that, but if you, my glossy accents is almost empty. There, that's better. That even looks like a pretty flower too, or a doily, a teeny tiny doily. But anyway, okay, so I think I'll put that. Actually, I don't think I want a white one. I want the silver ones. Okay, I think that'll do. This one can have some white ones. I really love these silver ones. They're so pretty. Now, I don't know how durable these things are, because I don't know how durable stuff you glued with glossy accents is. I'm going to put some hearts. I'll put one here. Now this is tricky because it's such a tiny thing. I'm going to put glossy accents over top of it too. I think that'll do it on that one. Now, I think I would like to have 1 or 2 hearts on this one as well. This is the one that says peace. Maybe right in the center right there of that pretty doily-like stacked snowflake. I think I need another silver right there to balance it out. Okay, I need to let those dry a little bit. I suppose I could prepare for the next part. So, I need that wire, that wire. Oh wait, it was this one. This one's thicker. And that one. I need approximately that much. Now, if you don't have this kind of artist wire, you could use pipe cleaner or even just a string, a ribbon, whatever you have. Okay, so I need 4 of approximately that size. And again, I mean, it gets pokey and stuff. It could hurt you, so be careful. Got those. And I am for this one I will get that much, and the other ones I will do with the blue. Actually, I think I'll do this. Whoops, that was dumb. I think I'll do this, the piece one with the red also. And for this part, it can be whatever size, whatever length, because it's not going to be. It's not going to be for the whole thing. Okay. And then 2 of this. Okay, that should do it. I'll be back when it's dry enough for me to apply these. Okay, they're dry enough. So basically, I tried to put it like kind of behind if I could, but if I couldn't, that's okay too. I just poked a hole wherever I thought, trying to make it sort of even, but just kind of eyeballing it. And in this one I failed miserably at that. It's like at an angle, but that's okay. And then now on some of them I put it through that way, and on others I put it through from the back. Doesn't really matter. So I put it through, and then I kind of do a twist tie type of thing. Gets a little bit fiddly. Okay, and I need my thingamabobby here. And so then I just went around a few times to make like a pretty loopy thing. I keep forgetting that when it's zoomed in that I can't go up close to the camera like that. And then I use this to make it a little bit safer and tuck it in and make it as tight as possible. Against there, but it's still, I mean, they're pokey bits and stuff, so be careful when handling it. Okay, and okay. And then I just brought the loop around and did the same thing to the other side with this piece. You can decide how big or small, or you know, how far you want it to reach, and just kind of shape it. That is if you're doing it with wire. If you are doing it with ribbon or whatever, then you just do whatever you like. Trying to make it tighter there, but it's not cooperating with me, so I'm just gonna... Okay. Okay. That's the best I've got for that. Okay, so you would have something that looks like that. Then just for added color and to kind of match up with the rest of it, I'm going to use this piece of red. And this wire is a little bit thinner. And I'm just going to choose a place to start wrapping it around. And I'm going to do that. I'm just going to wrap it for a bit. Okay, that should do on that side. And you can do it all the way down, all the way, or you can just do a little piece of it. Okay, I think I'm happy with that. And then with the rest of it, I use my pokey tool to make a curly Q thingy. And if you don't, I mean, you can use whatever you have. You can use a toothpick or a needle or a skewer or whatever. And then there you go. Do that to the other one too. The other side. So basically you're just wrapping it around your thing, and the tighter you wrap, the smaller your thing is, and you can leave the bit as long as you like, long or short, and you can decide, you can make it go in the direction you want it to go, and there you go. Now, if you wanted to, you could do a whole lot more to it, but I'm leaving it just like that. Okay, so that's that one. I'll let you see me do another one, and then I'll probably fast forward the next two. This one I'll go from the back, but it doesn't really matter. I made this wire a little bit shorter, so it's going to be a little bit different. And while you're doing it, really you should be using this to twist it around there, because you can poke your fingers and You can even make yourself bleed. I found that out the hard way. But anyway. Okay. Good. Okay. And I need the other red one. There it is. Oh, where did it go? Uh-oh. Okay, it had landed at my feet. And this one, this piece of red is long and is about the... with this one I can wrap around the whole piece of silver because it's long enough to do that. Of course I did it the wrong way. Hold on a sec. Okay, there we go. I just started on the wrong side of it. Well, it doesn't really matter. I'm just saying that I had myself confused. And you don't even have to make them all in one piece like this. You can make small pieces and do curlicues and just leave it like that. And you don't have to make it even. The way you wrap it around doesn't have to be even. Unless, of course, that's what you prefer. Okay, and I'm gonna curlicue the rest of it. Now, I probably should... Okay, that one's like very small, so... Okay, now, in these holes, I probably should have put eyelets, but I still don't really know how to use my eyelet setter thing, so I have to learn about that, and I just don't really want to yet. Okay. Okay, I think I'll leave it just like that. Okay, like I said, I will probably fast forward through these two. Okay, so I have a big mess here. But I've been trying to figure out where I might display them. Because of Soma, I can't really, my options are very limited. Because she loves to get after things like this. And I have these big brads. And they just barely make it through so that I can fasten it on the other side. So I'm going to see if this works. And I think it's going to. That's kind of neat. Okay, so hold on. Okay, so it's hard to see anything, but yeah, I don't really have to make it too tight or whatever, because if I do, then I'll have a hard time getting it out. But anyway, okay, so love and peace can go together. It is hurting a little bit. Maybe. There we go, that'll work. It's kind of like a hook. And snow and magic can go together. Now hopefully Soma can't really reach this too well. I probably should turn that brad so that the longer piece is the one at the top, because it'll hold it better. There we go. I don't know if you can actually see anything I'm doing, but anyway. Okay. And the last one. Now this one might be tricky on where to hang, because of the doodad I have at the top there. I think that'll work though. Okay, and again, make sure the longer bit is at the top. It's a little bit sideways, but I think it'll work. Good enough. There! See? I think that's kind of neat looking. Despite the big mess everywhere. But anyway, yeah.